walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's hunt now! Let's hunt now! Let's go! Let's hunt! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin strap.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them.
He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man.
You already make the big money.
He's a man.
Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there.
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house! It's a wrap. Game over.
Nah, this game ain't over. It is just getting started right here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. If you don't have a Roku streaming device, you need to get one because you missed out on all the live draft stuff last night. As Ben Sutter III, King Dawk, and others got in and got on it. They were trying to get me on, but I had another call I had to be on. But let me tell you, BS3 is the place to be. Download BS3 TV from your Roku streaming device and click on it, man. You're going to be glad you did. If you don't have a Roku streaming device, get one or go to the website, bs3network.com. That's bs3network.com. We are changing the way you watch TV. It's Freestyle Friday. I got to hit it and quit it. I unfortunately have to get out of town for a funeral, and y'all keep my oldest in your prayers, please. I'll leave it at that. I don't like to tell all my business, so I'm gonna leave it at that. But anyway, man, last night, we finally got the draft started, and I'm gonna say off the rip, the Texans won the draft last night. The Houston Texans won the draft last night. And I'm just saying day one now. I'm not talking about the whole draft through the 29th. I'm talking about last night, first round, the Texans won the draft. Let me tell you, when they got number 2, C.J. Stroud, the quarterback from The Ohio State University, at number 2, and then moved up to number 3 and got their defensive player, the one that they coveted. They got Will Anderson Jr. out of Alabama. And, man, I'll tell you what, it don't get no better than that. You got the number 2 and the number 3 pick in the draft. That team got better last night. I'm going to say a couple things about that. I'm not going to make it all about the Texans, but I'm going to say a couple things about that on Freestyle Friday. Number one, last night, what you saw is the DeMeco Ryans effect. You don't know what that is yet? Let me just tell you. If you were not in that building when DeMeco Ryans hit the campus and showed up and had the entire staff standing around the stairs and gallery area and just celebrating him. They didn't do that for Lovie Smith. They definitely didn't do that for David Culley. Hell, they didn't even do it for Bobby O. I don't call him by his real name because he's fake as a $3 bill. But they did it for DeMeco Ryans because he was literally the Texans' favorite son, not named J.J. Watt. The only player that probably would have gotten a bigger response would have been J.J. Watt. But DeMeco Ryans coming into this organization changed things. It put everyone on notice that everything has got to take a large step up, including the general manager. So last night, what you saw was the DeMeco Ryans effect. You had to get him a top quarterback. You couldn't come in here with that Davis Mills crap. You couldn't come in here with that Brock Osweiler crap. You couldn't come in there with this Tom Savage crap. You had to come in here with a legit #1 franchise quarterback. And I don't want to hear about no god doggone S2 tests and leaked information and all that. All I know is every time that young man stood on the field, they had a chance to win the game. Davis Mills can't say that. Brock Osweiler can't say that. Tom Savage can't say that. Nobody can say that this organization has had other than Deshaun Watson. I digress. So what you saw was the DeMeco Ryans effect. You had to get him some players. You couldn't get him with JV players. And I'm not disrespecting the guys. I'm not disrespecting the NFL level players. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking about the approach that the organization had used for the last 2 seasons under Nick Caserio. You can't rent players. You can't get players that nobody else wanted. You had to get ballers. You had to get ballers that everybody wanted. CJ Stroud at #2, and then you trade up and get a defensive-minded coach, the kind of defensive player that he was when he balled out here in Houston. You get Will Anderson Jr. Man, let me tell you something. That DeMeco Ryans effect is real. This organization cannot afford to give him less than what he needs for this organization to turn around and be successful. I'm telling you, the Texan faithful would go off on Cal McNair and Nick Caserio. And I'm telling you now, if Nick Caserio had blown that, Cal McNair would have run his butt out of here like he did Brian Gaine and like he did Bobby O. He would have run his tail out of here. So off to a good start. They won the night. The only team that probably had as good of a night as the Texans, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles got some players last night. Cowboy fans, you are on notice. The Eagles are serious about staying at the top of the NFC East, staying at a chance to get to the NFC Championship, staying in the neighborhood of Super Bowls. They got there, they got a taste of it, and they don't want to lose that taste. So the 2 teams that really balled out last night in the draft, Houston Texans #1, Philadelphia Eagles #2. And that's just off the rip, but keep your eye on the DeMeco Ryans effect. I came up with that. I didn't get that from nobody local. I definitely didn't get it from the Nationals. Because, man, I'm going to tell you, some of the national people showed their behinds last night. And, oh, yeah, by the way, good afternoon to everybody except all the haters of CJ Stroud, all the Brady Quinns, all the Pete Priscos, all of y'all. Good afternoon to everybody but you, because y'all ran that man's reputation, his integrity, his ability, his God-given talents in the ground over hearsay. Over here, what the hell has Pete Prisco ever done other than write about somebody else's ability? Brady Quinn, you were marginal in college and you were trash in the NFL, and you had the nerve to trash a young man's integrity, ability, God-given talents over what you heard. So guess what? He still went #2. Guess what? He still became a multimillionaire last night. Guess what? He still has a chance to do something that Brady Quinn and Pete Prisco have never done in their whole entire lives. Win a championship. Win a championship. Oh, there are more people. I'm just calling those 2 names. There's some other folks that need their names called out on Freestyle Friday on the lunch break, powered by JM&E. And do me a favor, tell them I said it. So anyway, at #1, the last time the Carolina Panthers had the #1 pick, they took a guy by the name of Cam Newton out of Auburn. That worked out pretty good for them. Last night, they went with Bryce Young out of Alabama. And I don't care about 5'10". I don't care about weight, 185, 190. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is that young man has a vision on the field and a pocket awareness and football IQ that is off the chart. I have not seen a quarterback just handle things like he did at Alabama. And everybody's talking about how the Ohio State hadn't had a successful starting quarterback in the NFL in a long time. Yeah, I got news for you. It's been kind of shady out of Alabama too. Yeah, you got Tua. And if you want to throw Mac Brown in there, because I'm telling you, the jury's still out on him, but name another in a long time. And I'm talking about top flight quarterback in the NFL. You got a chance to have one in Bryce Young. And Carolina did the right thing. They took a chance on a quarterback who can really do the things that they want him to do in the NFL. He can play from the pocket, he can extend plays with his legs, and he is smart enough to see the field and make his read. So I am excited about Carolina and what they did with that number 2 pick. We already talked about what happened at number 2. Everybody thought Will Levis was going to be the number 1 or the number 2 pick. Get out of here. Like, you ought to get on the air today and apologize. You ought to. Will Levis didn't go in the first round at all. At all. At number 3, of course, the big man out of Alabama, Will Anderson Jr., out of Alabama. Y'all got me so frustrated, I can't even. Anyway, at number 4, not Will Levis, Anthony Richardson out of Florida. Right pick. The right pick. The Colts finally got a franchise potential quarterback. Does he have some things he has to work on? Absolutely. Everybody coming out of the draft has things that they have to work on. So don't try and make it more on him than you would on anybody else. Anthony Richardson has a chance to be very special. And when you connect him with Jonathan Taylor, when you put that offensive line in front of him, man, let me tell you something. Indianapolis has a chance to be special in the AFC South. It's anybody's chance to win the division this coming year, depending upon how quickly these young players mature. If you think Tennessee is going to run away with it with Ryan Tannehill, and yeah, they got Derrick Henry, but still, they need more than that. Jacksonville has a shot. The Texans under DeMeco Ryan, I'm going to give them a couple of years, but listen, they got a shot. And Indianapolis might have vaulted themselves to the top of the list. Give Anthony Richardson a chance to hand off and then make some plays, and I'm telling you, Indianapolis can be special. That was at number 4. At number 5, Seattle went with Devon Witherspoon, cornerback out of the Illini. Again, a lot of folks thought that they were going to go quarterback right there. A lot of folks thought that they were going to go with Will Levis. They said, no, we happy with what we have. They're probably going to get a quarterback in one of the later rounds, man. You let Hendon Hooker be there when they pick again, and I'm telling you now, they're taking him. They're taking him. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Hendon Hooker is going to be the next quarterback taken. I believe that. All that nonsense about eating bananas with the peels on them and putting mayonnaise in coffee. Listen, you don't want your quarterback to be weird. You want your quarterback to be mature, Baker Mayfield. You want your quarterback to be mature. You want your quarterback to be teachable, coachable. You want your quarterback to be versatile. You don't need him to be weird. Okay? So I said that. Again, at number 6, the Cardinals took Paris Johnson Jr., nice little offensive tackle out of the Ohio State. Tyree Wilson, edge rusher out of Texas Tech, went at number 7 to the Raiders. And then at number 8, this is really what I wanted to get to before I get to the Eagles. At number 8, Atlanta decided they were going to do something that the league hadn't done in 7 years. Take a running back. In fact, in 7 years, 2 running backs went in the first round. But Atlanta took a running back. And Mr. Pete Prisco, I know football better than anybody else, gave that a D, all because it was a running back. They took the best running back in the draft at number 7 because they feel like they need a running back. And oh yeah, by the way, if you look at that organization historically, when they have been good, they had a bad butt running back. So I'm not mad at them for taking the pick, and I am not mad at them taking Bijan Robinson. I said 2 years ago that Bijan Robinson was going to be the number 1 running back taken in the draft. The folks that I know who do this work and who scout and what have you said, that dude's got a day 1 draft grade on him. And that was multiple different scouts from multiple different organizations said Bijan Robinson, day 1 draft grade. And guess what? Not listening to Pete Prisco, not listening to Brady Quinn, not listening to some of these other idiots on Sports Talk 610. They took a very good player, Bijan Robinson. Happy for him. Think he's going to do well down there in Atlanta. Then at number 9, At number 9, the Eagles got a dog. They got a young man who had off-field issues who said, listen, let this get worked out. I promise you it's going to get worked out, and I'm going to be ready. And they got him, Jalen Carter, a dog. And the Eagles' defense is back. They got a serious plug for that defense. And, man, I'm happy that that young man didn't fall too far, and I'm happy that he got picked up. At number 10, Darnell Wright, tackle out of Tennessee, goes to Chicago. They're trying to help out their young quarterback, help him be great. At number 11, Tennessee went offensive tackle. Tennessee went offensive tackle out of Northwestern. They need some help for their quarterbacks there. Not bad at that. At number 12, the second running back taken in the first round. Yep. Jamar Gibbs out of Alabama goes to Detroit. Detroit trying to run the ball a little bit. Detroit had a bounce-back season last year, and if they can run the ball, guess what? They can give their quarterback, Jared Goff, a chance to be great. And with what Detroit had going on last year, that helps them build on that, man. Not a bad pick at all. They picked according to what they needed, not according to what the experts, Mel Kiper Jr., Todd McShay, they picked according to what they needed. Number 13, Green Bay got an edge rusher, so what? Who cares? Oh, yeah, that quarterback ain't in Green Bay. I can like them again. At number 14, offensive tackle out of Georgia goes to Pittsburgh. Again, young quarterback, get him some help. Makes sense. At number 15, the Jets got him an edge rusher. Okay, Jets, I see you trying to play a little defense, trying to get you a little defense. Number 16, Emmanuel Forbes, defensive back out of Mississippi State. Starksville gets on the map. Number 17, some folks thought that the Patriots were going to take Will Levis and get rid of Mac Jones. And no, they did something totally different. They went defensive back out of Oregon, Christian Gonzalez. And that makes sense because they just let go of one of their big-time defensive backs. So it made sense. Again, teams doing what they needed to do as opposed to what folks thought they'd do. Number 18, the Lions got him another nice little defensive player, Jack Campbell, to go along with the running back, so they still got some defense. Kalijah Cansey, defensive lineman out of Pittsburgh, reminds a lot of folks of Aaron Donald, goes to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, man, when they got in that Super Bowl, when they won that Super Bowl, they did it with defense. They did it with enough offense, but the defense was the difference maker. Patrick Mahomes could not find a place to catch a breath that year. So, yeah, they trying to go back to what they went. At number 20, man, I was so happy this young man got called in Seattle, giving Geno Smith somebody to throw the ball to, Jackson Smith in Jingba, out of The Ohio State University. Missed almost all of last season, but, man, he has enough on film and enough on tape for them to know this young man can play. From the slot, out on the edge, wherever you need him, this young man has a way of getting open. And once he gets it, you better get him on the ground because his yards after catch are for real. All right, so that's that. Then the Chargers got themselves a wide receiver out of TCU. And, I really don't want this whole show to be about the likes of Pete Prisco and guys like that. But when I look at these grades that he gave some of these players, he gave that young man a C. Now, first of all, he's a tall wide receiver, 6'3". Second of all, he can run. Third of all, 208 pounds. He's not a slim guy. But Pete Prisco decided the man don't catch the ball enough for him. TCU made it to the Final Four because of plays this dude made. This dude was a game changer and can be a game changer in the league. Whether they had him on the slot, on the edge, he could go up and get it. He can, he was physical. Don't believe everything you read. Zay Flowers went at number 22 to the Baltimore Ravens. And let me stop real quick and give some respect to Lamar Jackson on his big deal. $260 million, 5 years, 185 of that fully guaranteed. And, oh, yeah, by the way, he didn't have to pay an agent. And some of the fans and some of the experts and some of the former players, that just eats them up. Well, he didn't get a fully guaranteed deal. Nobody did other than Deshaun Watson. But his deal, by the way, made him the highest paid player in the whole doggone NFL. I say he won. Oh, he lost out on money because he's never going to get that money back. Yeah, but it will still be more than he can literally spend in his lifetime. It's generational wealth that he created by agreeing to that extension. So where's the lose? The lose is people don't like that he did it his way and not their way. I'm happy for the young man. I'm happy for his mother. I'm happy for his family. They did it their way and they came out on top. And oh yeah, by the way, Baltimore has their franchise quarterback. They got some playmakers going around him. Baltimore is going to be back. What they need to do now is get him some weapons. And Zay Flowers at wide receiver. Hey, listen, he's small. He's small, 5'10", but he is a playmaker. In fact, a lot of comparisons to Tyreek Hill. And that young man's story, carrying his mother's picture on his neck because she passed away. And he's like, I wanted my mama with me. I wanted my mom. And he was like, yo, tell Lamar, let's get it. Let's get to work. I love that. 23, wide receiver out of USC, goes to Minnesota. Why didn't they take Will Levis? You know, their quarterback ain't for long. Not for long, league. Their quarterback ain't for long. Why didn't they take Will Levis? They took what they needed. Deonte Banks, defensive back out of Maryland, goes to the Giants at 24. Dalton Kincaid, tight end out of Utah. Let me tell you something, man. I don't rock a whole lot with Buffalo, but they got stronger last night. That's a whole nother weapon for them to use for Josh Allen. Man, look, instead of scoring 40 points a game, they might score 50 now that they got that big truckload who can move. All right, the Cowboys got Maisie Smith, defensive lineman out of Michigan. Again, they wanted Bijan Robinson. He was gone. They don't need a quarterback. They didn't need Will Levis. So guess what? They got what they needed. Not a bad pick out of Michigan. All right. Anton Harrison, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma, going to Jacksonville. Makes sense. You know, taking care of their young quarterback. Miles Murphy, edge rusher out of Clemson, going to the Bengals. Again, the Bengals. You saw how they made their run in the playoffs. Let that defense get a little stronger, and here we go. The Saints took a D lineman out of Clemson, Brian Breezy. Okay, guess what? They lost somebody on that defense. They now tried to get somebody to fill in. And again, the defense for Philadelphia got better at 30 with Nolan Smith coming out of Georgia. Man, oh man. The rich got richer last night. Again, the two teams that I think just won the draft, Texans number 1, number 2, Philadelphia. Kansas City went with Felix Andike Uzoma, edge rusher out of Kansas State. He got a bad grade from Prisco. Listen, they did what they needed to do. And that's the first round. I've covered the first round. All right, so for the Texans, I got to say they don't have a second round pick, but they got 2 picks in the third round. They're still on the clock. Nick Caserio, your job is not done. You're still on the clock. You got to get other players to help that starting lineup offensively and defensively, and you got to get some depth. Y'all, a lot of folks did not like Rick Smith when he was here in Houston. But let me tell you something. Rick Smith was money. First round, second round, and third round. He got a little iffy after that. But first, second, and third, he was money. So we'll see what Nick Caserio does, and keep an eye on the D'Amico Ryans effect. Okay? All right, so that's all I'm going to say. I'll be hanging out with the NFLers from the Perspective tonight on Nuts and Bolts Sports. I'll be talking the second round and the third round of the draft tonight for about an hour. If you got a chance to tune in, I'll try and post up the link once I get it. And then a big shout out to BS3 for what they're doing, how they handled their draft coverage last night. Also, let me talk a little NBA. Before I go. Last night, it was Boston eliminating the Atlanta Hawks. You know, Hawks played their butt off, but Boston, felt like they were going to be the stronger team. But man, Atlanta definitely shined the light on some things. And again, why Trae Young is considered to be the most overrated player in the NBA is beyond me. I can give about 5 other names. None of them would be Trae Young. Tonight, some possible closeout games. The Golden State Warriors at home again with their lucky selves with a chance to close out the Sacramento Kings. That's going to tip off at 7 Central. And we'll see if Sacramento can force a game 7 back in Sacramento. And then you got the Lakers with a chance to close out the Grizzlies. A lot of folks are saying that LeBron is gassed. LeBron's at home in a closeout game, I'm gonna go with LeBron on that one. I'm gonna go with LeBron on that. What was that movie with Wesley Snipes, the airplane movie, Flight 57 or something like that? Wesley said, always bet on black. I'm gonna always bet on LeBron, the kid from Akron. I got the Lakers closing them out tonight. All right, so we'll see what happens. And then tomorrow you got the Suns with their second round matchup against the Denver Nuggets. That will be in Denver. We'll see if the Suns can steal a game on the road. Then Sunday, you got, if necessary, games with the Lakers and the Grizzlies, the Warriors and the Kings. And then you've got the Heat and the Knicks in their second round Eastern matchup. So that'll be interesting as well. All right, y'all. I think I covered everything that I want to cover. I got to go. I love y'all. I saved all the commercials until the end. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I do. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Do me a favor. Keep my oldest in your prayers. Keep my oldest in your prayers. I'm heading over to Baton Rouge for a funeral. And my heart's heavy. And my heart's with my kids. So just keep them in your prayers. Don't, sometimes people tell you just pray, don't ask questions. Let's leave it at that. But y'all have a great and safe weekend. And Lord say the same. We'll be back on Monday with Coach Johnny Cole's HBCU Stroll. On Tuesday, I'll be back with the final wrap-up of the NFL Draft. Wednesday, of course, will be Winning Wednesday. We'll talk about how you can win $500 cash in the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. And then, of course, on Thursday, it'll be another Houston Round Ball Review Takeover. Did a great job yesterday. Normally, I play back their show from Thursday on Friday, but because of all the draft stuff that went on, I had to get on here and give my 2 cents on it. So again, y'all take care. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you all on Tuesday. All right.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Well, you need to know we made it. It's Friday, April 28th, 2023. Number 1. WNBA superstar Brittany Griner spoke publicly to the media Thursday for the first time since her December release from a Russian prison. The 7-time All-Star player vowed to never play overseas again unless she's selected to play for America in the Olympics, adding, "A lot of us go over there to make an income, to support our families, to support ourselves." Griner urged people to continue to fight for other Americans wrongfully detained, including Marine Paul Whelan and most recently journalist Evan Gershkovich. Number 2, St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones challenged her city's residents to meet me upstream as she outlined her agenda for the third year of her term in her State of the City address Tuesday night. Last year, Mayor Jones committed $500 million from the Biden administration's American Rescue Plan to address root causes, creating programs such as the Office of Violence Prevention and partnerships with St. Louis Public Schools to set up summer camps. In her 45-minute speech, the mayor spoke about how she would modernize city services and work with the Board of Aldermen to rally around early childhood development and daycare. Number 3, we all know moisturizers are not created equally. For instance, people with darker skin require different products because we tend to have different skin concerns and allergies. And although our melanin provides benefits such as additional protection from the sun's UV rays, we're still prone to the following conditions, including hyperpigmentation, melasma, and dryness. The What You Need to Know newsletter has products that seal in the moisture, soothe our skin, and when we should apply and reapply them. Check out the What You Need to Know newsletter right now. Number 4, the class of first grade students from the Higher Elementary School in Waukesha, Wisconsin, planned on singing Rainbow Land by Dolly Parton and her goddaughter Miley Cyrus, but administrators squashed their opportunity. One of the parents asked why the song was removed, and she was informed that the song was deemed too controversial due to school policy. The broad policy has gone as far as banning rainbow designs from school decor or teacher lanyards because of the association with the LGBTQ community. Number 5. Soul Popped is a gourmet popcorn brand started in 2016. With just $26 and a vision, DJ Lazada took her unique popcorn creations to the streets, literally. In no time, Lozada's popcorn hit the shelves of one of the largest farmers markets in Central Texas. And from there, she opened her second store in Austin, Texas. DJ Lozada recently announced 2 new partnerships, one with the Smithsonian's African American History Museum in Washington, D.C., where Soul Popped will soon be offered in the gift shop, and the other with Bank of America, which will offer Soul Popped in as many as the employee cafeterias nationwide. Here's your, I love that story. Oh, that's so great. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Life.
My name is JM&E, and I won $500 on the lunch break for keeping up with the Jonas Bracket Challenge.
Mr. AJ, oh my God, thank you. This is Miss Pearl, and I won $500 cash in the Lunch Break Weekly Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. Mr. AJ, thank you.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.